This is a story about love, a prison break, rescue dogs, incarceration, redemption, and ultimately, freedom. It is the real-life story of Toby Dorr, an ordinary woman who found herself becoming the main character in her own action movie drama, except that everything that happened to her was for real and not just for the camera. Make yourself comfortable to watch this video, get some popcorn, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. On February 12, 2006, 48-year-old Toby Dorr had the perfect Valentine's Day gift for her boyfriend, sneaking him out of prison in a dog crate. When Toby met 27-year-old murderer John Maynard, she was in an unhappy marriage and had just recovered from thyroid cancer. Her life would change in ways she never imagined thanks to a TV show called Sell Dogs on Animal Planet. Watching this program on TV gave Toby a new mission in life. She felt as disposable as the 670,000 dogs put down in the United States every year. She wanted to do something to help save those dogs from death row and give herself a new lease on life at the same time. So she started a prison dog program called Safe Harbor at Kansas's Lansing Correctional Facility. Through Safe Harbor, prisoners helped prepare shelter dogs for adoption. Everyone could come and pet the dogs in the common area, and prisoners with good behavior could temporarily house them in their cells, which was no doubt therapeutic for prisoners, helping them to develop compassion and responsibility. The program was a success, and through it, Toby was able to facilitate around 1,000 adoptions of well-adjusted dogs to local families. John Maynard was serving a life sentence for the 1996 killing of Donald England during a carjacking when he was 17. John introduced himself to Toby and volunteered to be one of her dog handlers. One day, John intervened when some other incarcerated dog handlers started harassing Toby. This gave John the privilege of becoming her unofficial bodyguard when she was in the detention center. They became close and spent all their dog handling time in the detention center together. Toby received from John the type of attention she never got from her husband. He became the closest person in her life. He told her that he loved her and that her husband didn't deserve her. Toby fantasized about life outside with John, and this led to a conversation about running away together. John took it seriously and started formulating a plan where Toby would help him get out of prison in a dog crate. Toby had always been a rule follower. She'd never had so much as a speeding ticket, never tried drugs, and never did anything out of line. In fact, the reason she had so much freedom to hang out with John inside the prison is that she was a straight arrow that the prison guards trusted. When John Maynard proposed to help him escape from prison, Toby agreed because she was so broken and overwhelmed by her life that she was ready to break some rules. Toby withdrew $40,000 from her 401k and bought a truck, men's clothes, and food supplies. She was ready to break out of her boring, loveless life and chase adventure and romance, no matter how much of an illusion it was. The first part of their escape plan worked perfectly. Toby kept her nerves in check and played her role to perfection. For someone with no experience of breaking any rules, she was impressive as a newbie criminal. They pulled it off on February 12, 2006. It was cold that day, which meant that everyone was more concerned with staying warm inside than conducting a proper inspection of everything that was coming in and out of the gate. Toby managed to stuff Maynard into a crate, into a van full of dogs, and out the front gate without ever being inspected. Toby went on to drop off the dogs that she was transporting, and the pair of fugitives went on their way to a Tennessee cabin Toby had rented under a fake name. Instead of a straight drive to Tennessee, they took a long road trip that lasted 24 hours, during which they both felt carelessly free, in love, and alone in the world. The second part of their escape worked perfectly. They made it to the cabin just before Valentine's Day, which they were able to spend holding each other, taking bubble baths, and eating chocolates. John played her brown-eyed girl on a mandolin. Everything was perfect. The third part of their plan to live happily ever after came to a sudden and dramatic halt. John and Toby were enjoying their time in their love cabin, blissfully unaware that they were national news as they never turned the TV on. One day, they decided to drive to Chattanooga so John could go to an IMAX for the first time and see a snake exhibit at the zoo. Their dream life together ended abruptly when they returned from a trip to the mall. They were confronted by police cars on the highway. Toby told John to pull over, but instead, John hit the gas and engaged in a high-speed chase. A police helicopter spotlight illuminated their fugitive run. Driven like dogs, they raced down a dark Tennessee highway into the inevitable. The car pursuit ended when John hit a tree at 100 miles per hour. The fantasy was over. Police had tracked them down because Toby used their Tennessee cabin address when she bought the truck. Big mistake from a newbie criminal. She was charged with aiding and abetting aggravated escape and sentenced to 27 months in prison. John Maynard got 10 years added to his sentence for his 2 weeks of freedom. For John, this little escapade gave him some time out from his life sentence, and to these days he continues his routine as an inmate. After his capture, Maynard said in a letter to the media, "We have a fairy tale love the size of infinity that's been lived by 2 real people. She means more to me than my own life." The dog training program at the prison continues despite the escape. The program is a success and has saved thousands of dogs and helped inmates find purpose and compassion whilst serving their sentence. For Toby, this little escapade took her straight to prison, where death, desertion, and divorce were her visitors. Still, her life in prison took her on an amazing journey of self-discovery. Stripped bare and stripped of duty, she discovered who she wanted to be. Toby found freedom in the most unexpected place: behind bars. She found freedom from expectations, obligations, and deadlines behind bars. Her story is a lesson in perspective, wisdom, forgiveness, and unconditional love. Instead of focusing on the devastation of mistakes and loss, Toby consciously chose to make her 24 months incarceration as a time to reflect on her life, heal emotional wounds, plot a course for the future, and embrace the sisterhood of women she embraced behind bars. Today, Toby is happily remarried. She is a published author, an inspirational speaker, and an advocate for women. Her memoirs, Living with Conviction, is due to be released soon, and her life story will be turned into a movie, Jailbreakers Lovers. Toby is passionate about using her story to help women rebuild their lives, confront their fears, boldly evaluate where they are, and courageously change. Toby teaches that willingness to change is the cornerstone of good habits, and appreciation is one of the simplest expressions of attitude. Appreciation requires awareness of circumstances and principles which are not always apparent. Finding joy in unfavorable situations can be hard work, but the more you look for the best, the more you'll find it, and the more you'll create it. Toby's mission in life is to help women find their calling and find a community of their own where they can thrive. Building healthy communities and being a productive member of something bigger than us is very important. Nobody thrives in isolation. We all thrive to be significant, but there can be no significance when you're hiding in the masses. Through effort, expectations, endurance, and evaluation, you can achieve significance. The prison I needed to escape from wasn't the physical prison that I was in. It was the prison I had built around my life. I encourage each of you to move beyond the confines of your circumstances and live each moment with conviction, allowing life's fullest, most beautiful potential to unfold. Toby Dorr. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep yourself out of trouble and away from detention centers. And if you want unconditional love each day, adopt a dog. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.